I'm going to tie a white snake fly. So I'm going to take a size 8 B175 here, that's going to be our rear hook. And we're going to create the mount for that. So I'm going to take a bit of white 20-pound Dacron and cut that off. I'm going to pull that through some tie-in wax just to make it a little bit less prone to fray. Pass that through the eye of the hook. Now I'll create a loop here, wrap that around about 4 times and then pass that through the loop that we created. Then hold this all back away and pull that end forward, and that'll create a sort of a knot that'll hold all that in place. So we use a white tie-in. I'm going to cut that off, and then we're going to bind this bit down here with our white thread. Now, that wouldn't slip out anyway, but it'll definitely not once you've it wrapped down. See, the reason for cutting this off at maybe only 4 inches or so is if you left it full length 8 or 9 inches to just tangle up as you're trying to wrap, it'd be impossible. So this fly we want to tie to be 3 inches long. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a marker, I'm going to put a ruler up, and I'm going to mark that off a little bit shy of 3 inches, just a black mark on it. You may or may not be able to see that, and we'll use that when tying to give us our length gauge. So you can buy yourself Zonker strips or you can cut them. So some people asked how do I cut them, so here I have a rabbit skin. Now this takes a little bit of practice, but what I'm going to do is take a scalpel blade. Now some people would just put that down flat and cut it, but that'll cut through your fur, so this takes a bit of practice. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick the scalpel blade through the skin, and while it's in the air I'm just going to run it along the length of the skin. Now if I put my finger in here, that'll spread this apart, and then I just run the blade down as we go, and take that the whole way down. So you end up with our Zonker strip. So I'm going to take the tail portion of it, this end, pull the hair forwards so as I get this bit, and tie that upside down across the back of the fly. Then I'm going to dub the body with some of the rabbit fur. Now, if you wanted, you could add some sort of colour to that, a bit of flash, whatever you want, but this is just a basic white snake. We'll stop that when we get to the back of this knot thing that we created. Pull the Zonker strip forward, wet these fibres here, that'll keep them out of the way, and then I'm just going to put a few wraps across that, pull that forward, finish that get a little bit of our clear varnish and varnish that off two sides and underneath. Try not to let too much of that wick up into our Dacron to sort of make it brittle and weak. So take this thing that we've tied, set it out of the way. So now we want another hook for the front. As I said before, you don't need to use a fancy hook for that. In fact, it's easier to tie if you go and find a coarse hook or a C hook that has a bigger eye on. So now we'll reattach our white tie-in thread onto that shank, trim that off. Take the previous thing that we tied, and this is where we're going to use this mark that we created. So pass the Dacron down through the eye of the hook and pull this mark down until it matches up. Then pull this end underneath, both of them up onto the top, and wrap backwards. A few good wraps at the rear there just to make sure that's in position. That'll not pull out. And then this bit here, trim it off. So take our tie-in thread down to the rear of this one, pull our Dacron back tight, and then we're going to tie off our rabbet strip so that it's a little bit loose. So we want the rabbet strip slightly longer than the Dacron, so that when you're playing a fish, it's the Dacron that's taking the pull and not the rabbet strip. Wind over that. And now if you want, put a little bit of white dubbing to cover that tie-in point. And the same again, white dubbing to cover up the body. Pull forward the rabbet strip. Snip that off. So now we want to put some sort of bit of flash in here. So I'm just going to use a bit of Mirage. One strand, double it over, lay it in to be not quite the length of the fly on my side, flip that over to the far side, hold all back, and then measure that against this strand, and then we'll add a couple of bead chain eyes. So we'll take our bead chain here, our snips, place that on underneath. Some figure of 8 wraps, that'll hold that in place. Bit of super glue. And then we'll take another little bit of our rabbit fur and sort of do a figure of 8 through that. That fills up that gap around those eyes, and to my mind stops your leader from tangling in the bead chains. Snip that off. Little dab of super glue into that to set the tie-in thread. And that's the fly complete. All we need to do now is to snip off the hook off this one. We'll take our snips, snip that off. Make sure you hold on to that as you're snipping it off, because otherwise it'll go flying. And that is our white snake fly. As you can see, the Dacron is stopping our bunny strip from snapping. So, a few little differences from the black one that we tied, but just a basic white snake.